something like that.
So Desmond, you made the preseason prediction for Michigan to win it all. Now that you've seen 6 games, where do you think that they fall kind of in your general power rankings?
Wow, well, they're not in the top 4. They're definitely not that, but things change weekly. Oklahoma was in the top 4 a week ago. They got knocked out. So it's a fluid situation, as I expected it to be. It's not easy for anybody, and even Alabama. I mean, it seems easy so far, but a lot of football left to be played. So, they're out of the top 4, but there are a lot of teams now, who are making the climb, and some teams are starting to falter.
Can Michigan still win the national championship in your eyes?
If they win out, they have a shot. They got a shot. I mean, they got a lot of work ahead. We make these predictions sight unseen, beginning of the season, just like polls. They probably shouldn't exist before you see, 5 or 6 games. But it is what it is because, you look at the team, what they have coming back, and look at the schedule. And then, I'm a guy who just likes to think outside the box. If everyone picked Alabama at the beginning of the season, what fun is it? You know what I mean? So they still got a chance to do something special.
How special is it for you to come here on game day?
Wow. I tell you what, just coming to Ann Arbor, period, it just it re-energizes my soul. It really does. I love coming to Ann Arbor. It's just a great campus, wonderful people. You guys I appreciate the fall weather. I really do. Yeah, nice and crisp. Great football weather. So it's tremendous to coming back here. It really is.
What do you think Michigan has struggled to win these type of games?
I think it just depends. I mean, did they struggle? Some things were fluke, when they played, I guess, with Michigan State, a couple years ago with the punt, would that be considered one of these type of games? It's like you outplay a team for the whole game except the last, 10 seconds, 9, whatever the case may be. So it's different situations. You just can't say this is why they struggle. I can't put them all in one basket. I understand the question, but there's no real good answer to that question.
Desmond, what did you see out of Wisconsin?
I mean, Wisconsin's Wisconsin. They're exactly what you expect them to be. Really big and stout up front. Take a lot of pride in their offensive line and defensive line too. Excellent running back. They're just who they've always been. They're gonna, run the ball. Some off tackle, but for the most part, power in between the tackles. And they got a running back who's a home run hitter. So once he hits a crease, he can go the distance. And I don't think they've had, even though they've been a running, outfit, running program, they haven't had that type of element in their running game before. They've had really good running backs, but not a guy who can just go the distance anytime he touches the ball, hits a crease.
Pretty strongly about the importance of this game for the program, I guess. How important do you think it is?
It's important. I don't overemphasize the importance of it. Yeah, but it's just important.
Desmond, Reese said you don't take them to any of your favorite spots.
I can't hear you.
Reese said you don't take them to any of your favorite spots here in Ann Arbor. What are those favorite spots?
So that's because I got my sons with me, and so I got to take them to the spots. I like Mediterraneo's, one of my favorite restaurants. Yeah, I like that. Actually, I went there last night and had dinner. Fantastic food. You guys should try it out. Yeah, I like the halloumi cheese. I don't eat a lot of cheese because I try to watch my cholesterol as a black man. But they got this grilled halloumi cheese that is probably the only cheese I would eat all year. Well, I mean, Beeline has done just an outstanding job. I mean, he's a tremendous head coach. I just love what he brings to the basketball program, and it's always just a treat watching, his teams do what they do. He's a master at getting his teams to peak at the right time, and that's what's important in sports. Or any sport, when you try to go towards the championship, you got to peak at the right time. It was a lot of fun. I got a chance to talk to the women's basketball team, and we support all sports. I love watching the softball team, and I love it. I took my boys to a game a couple of years ago. Hush does a tremendous job, and so it's always just an honor, though, for me to be able to just try to give some sort of message to the student athletes here. As a former one, I just feel like it's kind of like my duty to do that, and I really enjoy it. I loved it, and I just hope I said something that resonates with them, that they can carry with them, throughout the season and beyond. college.
Do you get surprised each and every week when you see the crowds out here? You guys get the ratings for how big this show is. Is it almost a situation where you pinch yourself every season as you enter and to see just, man, I'm a part of something really big?
Well, I do understand I'm a part of something really big. I really do, and I've been blessed with that. But then there comes the challenge, you know what I mean? Like each year, this is a bigger challenge for us to like top last year. So I don't get caught up in, man, this is great, because now I know I have to outdo what we did a year ago, you know. And so it just drives me to go harder and to, you know, try to perfect my craft even more.
How do you do that? Do you watch film like you're a former player?
You definitely watch film.
Yeah.
But, you know, you talk to people, you have conversations with people who, like, you know, cover the team, you know, for, like, the local media or, like, local broadcasts. You talk to the people who are dialed in, and, you know, you start building those relationships, and you just, you know, you stay on top of your game.
Desmond, what's your assessment of the young receivers through 6 games and the passing game in general?
Well, I think that, you know, these guys are really starting to play much better. You know, I think that it all starts in the trenches, though. You know, it all starts with the offensive line. You have to be able to control the line of scrimmage for anything to happen offensively. And first and foremost, Michigan wants to run the ball. And then, you know, running the ball sets up the pass, play action, things of that nature, because they have to, you know, respect the run and maybe, you know, put 8 or 9 in the box. And I think now, because the offensive line is playing better, I think that Cesar Ruiz is really, really coming to his own. I think that it opens up the playbook, it opens up the offense, and that helps the receivers even that much more.
What's your impression of Shea Patterson so far?
Shea is a guy, I believe, who's benefiting now from the offensive line playing better. You know, I think he's getting more comfortable. I mean, he's completed like 68% of his passes, 10 touchdown throws. But just watching him, I mean, things that, you know, numbers can't tell you. He's looking more comfortable. He's looking like he's getting into a rhythm. He's looking like the Shea Patterson that people had anticipated who came from Ole Miss. When he said, I'm a transfer to Michigan, and people are like, okay, this is what this kid brings to an offense. I think now he's starting to look like that kid.
Michigan was 5-1 in 2015, 6-0 in 2016, 5-1 last season, and they're right there again this season. Is there anything that makes this team different based upon those past? Because obviously the second half has always been a collapse for them.
I think the biggest difference anyone would point out would be the quarterback position. Yeah, I mean, there's no secret that Shea is the most athletic quarterback that Coach Harbaugh's had since he's been here, and you need that nowadays to be able to extend plays, just keep the chains moving, and things of that nature. So, you know, we'll be able to tell, you know, tomorrow night is a huge test for the offense, for Shea Patterson. But I think that would probably be the first thing that I would look at, would be just the play of the quarterback.
How much has he benefited from working with Jim and MPEP? I mean, he said, one thing Shea said is he knows he doesn't have to make something happen all the time, and I think maybe he did before at Ole Miss.
Yeah, and what you know, and the thing about it is he's a gamer. I mean, Shea is a guy who, I mean, is very athletic, very competitive. His teammates, they really, really like him a lot. They took to him instantly when he started, you know, practicing with them. And so it's just natural for a guy like that to want to go out there and make a play and make the difference. And, you know, but you got a guy like, you got Pep Hamilton, you got Coach Harbaugh, who are pretty good with quarterbacks. I think they had to just try to help him understand, you know, you don't have to do everything on your own. You got teammates out there. Just rely on these guys, and then the big play will come. Because, you know, as a competitor, as a athlete, you want to go out there and make the big play, but sometimes you got to let the game come to you. And I think that's probably the most important message that they've been able to get across to Shea Patterson.
What's impressed you the most about Don Brown's defense so far this year?
Man, well, I think Don Brown's defense is aggressive. I'm an old school guy, so I can appreciate a defense that's going to be aggressive, that's going to go out there with the mentality that we're going to set the tempo, we're going to dictate to you, and we're going to take risks because we have that type of confidence in our personnel and in what we're doing. And so I respect that, and I respect the hell out of that. And he's like, you know, we're a man up, and you know, if you can beat us man to man, so be it. If not, you know, we're coming to get your quarterback. So I just really, really respect his philosophy, his approach, and how he gets these guys to go out there and get after it every time they're on the field.
overall the Jim Harbaugh criticism that seems to come, the not winning the big games, the underperforming, all of that. How warranted or not warranted do you think that is?
It's warranted. I think that when you have the expectations that people have him coming in here, then obviously they were like sky high. But then you have to balance that against what he had to try to rectify, so to speak. I mean, you had the Rich Rod years, which it just didn't change. It changed the whole culture. It just wasn't Michigan football. I mean, we even talking like the weight room, the way they trained, everything changed. Then you go from there to Brady Hoke. So, he had a bigger job than people anticipated, but because, it's Jim Harbaugh, you look at what he did in Stanford, you look what he did with the 49ers, just like, okay, he's going to turn it around. I think he's turning it around, but not at the pace or the rate that people expect. You look at the record, but then you look at the product. So, okay, the team can lose a game, but then you look, okay, but were they competitive? And then that's when you start to really see, are they making strides, are they getting better, and things of that nature. If you just look at the record, then you just have that criticism and then you can go about your day. But like as a former athlete, there are people who, if you're a former Bruin, you may look at Chip Kelly right now and look at UCLA and you say, okay, this is their record, but then you look at the product. Do they appear to be getting better? Are they competitive? Things of that nature. Same situation going up in there in Lincoln, Nebraska. Scott Frost, how is this team looking? Obviously, they looked really competitive coming out the gate against Colorado. That was a hell of a game, and that's the team that's probably undefeated, But then since then, when the quarterback got hurt, it just really started to spiral out of control. So it's one thing to look at the record, but then you want to look at the product on the field and then see if they're making any type of strides in the right direction or they're being competitive too.
On special teams, do you like what you've seen with special teams this year? That's near and dear to your heart.
Yeah. Well, obviously I was at the Notre Dame game, so that kickoff return for a touchdown just had me. I was very happy about that.
Is he
that was
faster
great
than you
to
were?
see. Oh man, I don't know. What's his 40 time? I don't know. That's a good question. I have no.
I think he's a 2.8.
He was. But he was rolling. And then Donovan Peoples-Jones, you get him back there. He's he's like 6'2", but obviously he's good enough out in space, and that they're comfortable enough with him being a punt return, and he's taking one to the house this year too. So I think so far so good. They're going to be really tested though this next stretch of games to see exactly where they are.
Is it hard for you not to look at the Michigan State, the game, Michigan playing there?
Yeah, it's not hard for me to because this is a big game. Yeah. This is a big game. Listen, Paul Chryst does a really good job. I think because he's so understated, and he doesn't bring a lot of attention to himself, that people don't give him the credit that he deserves. But this guy, he's a hell of a coach. His team's going to be ready. So this is a game that you don't look past Wisconsin. You don't, not at all.
But could I ask you, Lewerke is seems like he's taken a step back at Michigan State. Do you think that's offensive line related, or is that?
It's not just one thing. Some things offensive line, but then when he has protection, he's making some throws, and you're like, what was he looking at? What was he thinking? And he had you scratching your head, then that's all on him. So there's a combination of things that are involved with this play so far. But it's part of football, and you get injuries, and people have to step up, and it is what it is.
All right, guys, got to get back to it.
Thank you so much.
No problem. My pleasure.